We are Hubdrive. Our vision is to empower people and organizations in HR management.
I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to see you all, and I'm happy to talk about a topic that is very important for us because I think we're all here because of the same topic, and that's the potential of HR management, of digitizing HR management. Before I go into detail, that's me. Hello, I'm the marketing director at Microsoft. Yeah, I'm the marketing director. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not yet. I'm the marketing director at Hubdrive, and I'm not alone. I'm doing this presentation together with our dear partner Marco Bröse from Deutsche Telekom. This is Marco. He will be there in a second, just so you can see our faces already and you know who is talking to you. So, okay, let's get the thing started. Everybody is here because of the potential. That's what I said, and I really mean everybody. Doesn't matter if you're a customer, if you are willing to become a customer, a partner, whatever. If you're a customer already or a partner already, you already decided to go with us on the same road. You decided that we're heading in the same direction because you already found out that digitizing HR together with us brings some benefits. And you're here today because you're saying, oh, maybe we can go down the road a little bit faster. You're welcome. We will try to show you the ways how to do so. If you're a potential customer or potential partner, looking for a partnership, for example, you might be interested in what does this road look like the others are heading to. Yeah? So you are interested in the potential. So that's why I say everybody here in this room is interested in the potential and what it holds for us. We can go on to that. First of all, just a short fly over the agenda. We will talk about a definition of digitalization. Then we will see where we are at HR management. Yeah? How high is the level of digitalization within HR management, which indicates kind of a potential for us, of course. Then we will look at the potentials of digital HR management together with the platform. Just as Franciscus said, it's not only Hubdrive, it's Hubdrive and the platform. Because this is an idea and this is a module that is bound together and works best bound together. So we have to find out the benefits of both. Then we will have a look at the concrete potential of HR for Dynamics, our product, our software. And at the end, we'll have a closer look at the benefit calculator later, Francisco's mentioned already, because this is something, when we're talking about potential, and when you really want to see what the potential is, and when you not only want to have nice benefits here, nice benefits here, when you really want to have facts and figures, then you have a tool like this, and this is very helpful. Okay. So first of all, what is digitalization? Marco, I think you're also already able to go to space with me.
Yes.
So the technology is equipped.
Test. Yeah.
Yeah, I can at least hear you. What is digitalization for you?
If I would answer that question completely, I think we would need another 3 days to that. So in our pre-discussion before that presentation, I said, just to put it in some simple words, is just bringing analog, paper-based processes into the digital world. There are lots of preconditions we have to fit, but that's something we're gonna deep dive into later on.
Yeah.
So a plain, quick answer to that is just digitalizing the paper and get rid of it. That's the aim, what I hear when I talk to our customers.
I looked up in literature and there's no real definition of digitalization. But definitely when we're working within this industry, and everybody has heard something about the processes, and I think this is the most important part Marco mentioned. But I want to go a step back with you, take another perspective, because I think it's very important what digitalization does and why it is doing. Because turning processes, analog processes into digital processes, sounds good. But what does it do? So for me, first of all, everything is about disruption. I mean, disruption is a buzzword many people have heard and have played around with, like AI these days, yeah, but a very important buzzword when it comes to digitalization. Because disruption is defined as the change, a total change or a heavy change of an industry due to improvement of technology. And we are completely in that phase. And over the years, over the centuries, we've always been in those phases. Maybe today it's one of the most interesting ones. Yeah? But what it does, I want to explain to you with 2 or 3 pictures. This is 1900 Fifth Avenue, New York. And what you see is public transportation on the streets. You see horse carriages. Was the way people like to go from one place to another in those days. What you also see is one car. This is the magic button, let me see. Oh yeah. Is one automobile. One automobile among, I don't know, thousands horse carriages. That was the future there. Maybe this is AI, but so that was the first car up there. And after, so new technology, of course, compared to horse carriages. And after 13 years, this is 1913, not 30. 1913, same street, New York, Fifth Avenue. Easter, it says somewhere, it says it's Easter time. I don't know if that is important, but you see a complete change. There are no more horse carriages. Public transportation on streets was transformed from horse carriages into cars, automobiles. And that is disruption, because something completely vanished. Why is that? Because customers and the service providers themselves said, that is the better way to do so. Cars are going faster. I can go up the street faster than with a horse carriage. Yeah? When I'm a supplier, and you have to maintain and nurture horses, that's quite expensive. Nowadays, people having horses normally know that it's very important. You need a stable, you need all the food and stuff like that. So it's not so easy to have horses around. It's easier to have a car these days. And it was easier to have a car for transportation and for business cases in those days. And that's how something has changed completely. Yeah? There's one carriage left. There's one carriage left after 13 years on the same street, and that is disruption. That is what we're talking about. That is a potential we're talking about. Okay. I'm fine that everybody understood what I meant. Okay. Now we've seen potential and we've seen what digitalization and disruption is. Then let's have a look at numbers and facts about surveys where we are at the moment. Yeah, because everybody has a feeling, a gut feeling, experience. I want to hear Marco's experience in a second. But where are we at in HR management when it comes to digitalization? Okay, status quo. Marco, what is your, when you think about digitalization, we haven't prepared this question, I did that on purpose because I just want to know what you're really thinking. Where are we in the status quo of digital HR management?
Honestly, that's for me very hard to put it into a specific point, because on the one...
I can hear you.
Okay, on the one hand, I talk to customers who are really mature. They have digitalized lots of processes. And on the other hand, I'm not kidding, 6 months ago, I was talking to a sales manager who said, yes, I've put all my processes to WhatsApp. So the salespeople are taking pictures of the sales orders and send them via WhatsApp to inside sales to create the proposals. And he was serious about that answer, thinking he is on a good way. So I think we are in between of two worlds. On the one hand, the very mature companies. Luckily, I can say I'm also working for one of those companies. We have an HR app for, I think, 3 or 4 years now. where I can do almost everything I want. And that was a really big change, an improvement of my daily work for myself. But on the other hand, some of our customers are really suffering, and not only the customer itself, the employees are suffering due to the poor HR processes.
We will come to that in a bit, because we want to also show that it's not just a process that it's improved, it's also working conditions that are improved by doing so, by improving processes. We've looked at several surveys, yeah, and to have some numbers, we have 4 surveys we looked at, and we found out that 80 official service, statista.com, I can give you everything afterwards. I will send you out those slides if you want to, and everything is noted down. So 80% of HR managers have been asked, what do you think, how important is digitalization in your area? I mean, 80% said it's very important. It's not something surprising, I guess, these days. What is important is what people think digitization is, as we just see photos on WhatsApp, or what we can offer, maybe. So, but at least it sends out a signal or a sign that people have a positive connection and think it's good and it's important. I mean, that's the first step, right? That you accept something before you can implement it. But the survey also said that only 64% of those people think that when it comes to HR management, or not only HR management, when it comes to has your company already implemented, developed a digital strategy, it's 64% who say we started. And I think this can mix a little bit what you said, the numbers, those who are already have come a long way, and those who are just beginning, right? Yeah. So this is something important right now, what comes next, because the majority of those HR managers that have been asked, they say that they think that their department is not well represented when it comes to digitization. I mean, I work together with, I'm in marketing, and I work together a lot with HR managers, and marketing and HR managers always mourn together because nobody sees. Yeah, and that's a problem, of course, yeah. But that's what they're feeling, yeah. That's very important, and these are this is your stuff, these are your employees, and that's what they're feeling. They think they always been, they receive poor marks, and they think they always lag behind compared to other areas of a company. Marco, why do you think managers that are responsible for a shift here do not see the importance of HR?
I think to answer that question, I have to go some years back to my studies, where I've learned that HR and finance is a supporting process. And that's what lots of managers and companies still think. HR is just a supporting process. As I said, I'm a lucky person who is working for a company who is very good in that field of digitalization. From my point of view, that whole HR topic changed. I mean, we are all talking about shortage of employees. Everybody wants to get the best talents. And that's the reason why also HR was turning, or is currently turning, from a supporting process to, depending on your real business, to a very important process which you have to focus on.
I want to share a last survey with you for the status, so that we can go on. But this is also something that we found out, and I will show you that with an example. Maybe some of you know this guy. This is Leonidas of Sparta. He's the CEO of 300 very, very skilled warriors. And he's quite angry. Yeah? He's angry because he found out that for his 300 warriors, he needs 7 HR tools, or 7 HR tools to fulfill and to get all their HR work done. So he has 300 people, and he has 7 HR tools. As he found out that with Hubdrive and Microsoft together, he can skip that and can only work with one solution, he became a gentle and positive guy, yeah, and was really happy about that. So, fun aside at this point, this is something we ask our customers. We had about 100 customers we were asking, and they said that they had, when they were working with 300 people, about 7 products they used, 7 tools they used. I can share this experience. Is this something that matches your experience when you're talking to customers?
Don't put me to exactly 7. Sometimes it's 3, 4, 5, sometimes 8. But those are the customers who are already on a good way. Some other customers, I call that the really angry and poor customers, and that's something we were not talking about before. They are already using one application. This is also provided by Microsoft, but called Excel. And that's also something I see. They store their job profiles, which are currently online, the applicants in Excel or SharePoint lists, which could be a good start, but it's also something you cannot work with for the next couple of years. Then we have the customers who are started to improve their processes, and they were researching and figuring out different islands, silos, which are most likely not connected as they could be. But
Good.
In the end, 5 to 7, 3, something like this.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in a second as well. So that's the status. So what it tells us is that there's lots of room for improvement when it comes to digitalization and HR management. And that's a very good sign for us, because we are here for potential. We're looking for potential. We want to drive that road together. We want to speed up. So we know that the road is very, very long, and it's getting wider and wider, because we see companies have lots of room for improvement here. So let's go on to the next one. We want to talk about the potentials of HR management, of digital HR management, and the potentials the platform offers. Because, as I already mentioned, we think of that as a combined system. It works together. We need both to really perform, and you need both if you really want to perform well. So one of the first things is the platform benefits we want to talk about. I do not want to go much in detail because Oliver mentioned it before, but a platform everybody uses and everybody knows is the cell phone, iPhone, whatever, a handy. That's a German expression, is handy. And I was told yesterday that when I'm using that expression that I'm old, because it's smartphone. Okay, so we'll use the expression smartphone, and I have to realize the fact that I'm getting older. But it's not a problem at all. But the thing is, here you have a platform, and what you have here, you have apps on this platform. And these apps, if you want to, they can communicate with one another. For example, everybody knows WhatsApp. You said WhatsApp is used for sales processes. Maybe not the best choice, but you can use WhatsApp, and let's take your example. You can write a text, and you can put a photo on that text, and you can send it out. So 2 apps have been communicated together, the WhatsApp Messenger and the camera app. You liked him to, they communicated together. You also said an example with WhatsApp, for example, Marco told me that, and I think it's very good, because if somebody invites you with on WhatsApp in a group, or somebody writes to you, you do not have his contact details, right? Just the name or something, but you can click on, you want to add them to your address book directly. So not only the address book on WhatsApp, but your address book on the phone. And this is synchronized work, interaction. You do not have double data entry anymore. Things many people are struggling when it comes to HR management, for example, because when you have those 7 islands Leonidas was so angry about, you know why? Because you have a John Little here, you have a John Little with TEL on the left hand, then you have TLE on the other hand, and maybe you have a Little John somewhere else. So this is very important. This is a very, really great benefit at this point, and everybody knows it. And compare a platform transformed Here is this one we have for day-to-day for our social life, and for our business life, a Power Platform is a platform that can provide exactly these things. Because there are apps, they can talk to one another. And one important thing, you already mentioned it, is you have no more islands. That's what we call islands, because if islands are a marketing app, are a different app is a different app for sales processes, it's a different app for finance. Everything has one app, and every app has to talk to another app. Every app has to have a kind of interface so that they can talk to one another, and there's such great effort that can be very, very much alleviated if you're working with islets, because everything is on one platform. Like the apps on your phone, everything is interacting if you want to. And that's the message here, because and that is so important, because we are an app on a platform, but we're using the platform and we can interact with all the stuff that is on the platform. Okay. So we can get rid of those islands. We just want to symbolize that, and everybody is happy when they're on the one platform. Still looks like an island, but if that is a platform, that's also all right. So, apps communicate, that's what we said. That's just a portrait of what happens if apps do not communicate. Yeah? This is a scenario where I said to Marco when we prepared 30 hours for our speech, we were talking and I said, isn't that a perfect scenario for you as a company who's consulting and implementing? You have different apps here. You have money falling out of each app. You have interfaces. You have a lot of service you can sell. Is this a good scenario for you? And then you said, no, it isn't. And that's quite interesting. Why?
Yeah. That was really funny to me that he thought this is as an implementation partner, perfect scenario because we are earning lots of money. And I said, no, that's something, and hopefully all the other implementation partners would agree to that. We don't really want to focus on that scenario. Let's take HR. We are the Hubdrive partner who is implementing HR. And the customer is spending, let's say, 100 to us into our project and another 100 to all of the other buckets. We have to communicate with the provider who is responsible for marketing. We have to discuss with the delivery partner for sales. Hopefully the customer is already on a good way and has sales and service from the same company. And we also have to talk to the ERP guys. In the end, the customer is spending 1, 2, 3, 4, 500. If we would be able to combine everything, I know putting everything into one platform, that's something all the big software providers really want. In reality, it's not always as easy as the marketing slides say, but in the end, customers spending 500. So if we would combine everything, or let's say 3 or 4 buckets, then obviously our HR investment, because the overhead discussions, meetings, interface discussions, something we could cut down, our bucket for HR is obviously decreasing. Yes, that's why you thought that's not a good scenario for us. But in the end, if we are on one platform, the customer is hopefully deciding for one good implementation partner, and then the overall share for that partner is increasing. So on the one hand, we are cutting down the investment into our specific bucket, but as a service provider, we can increase. So that's something which motivates us to convince the customer to go to one platform, because the customer is streamlining the processes. We are able to decrease the investment costs. And another point, which is always not considered from all the customers, is that you only have one or less contact persons. So as I said, in a perfect world, we would be able to combine all of those 5 buckets. In reality, it's not as easy, but we can also decrease the contact persons on customer side. So it's a win-win situation for all of us.
Yeah, and I think that's a really great message, because that is what binds us together, right? We have the benefits of the platform and the benefits from each perspective, customer, partner, and we as a software provider in this case as well. Okay, and this would be our perfect, as you said, marketing scenario, but I think it's the perfect scenario people are heading to, and it's always also that what Oliver said, right? He said, digitize your data, go on a platform, and then AI can happen. If you think of the picture we had, the Fifth Avenue, AI would be the Formula One car standing there right now. Yeah, and everybody has to be ready to step into the Formula One car. But before that, they have to change from the horse carriage to a car as a first step. So if you want to have, when you want to talk in pictures. Okay, this is also a scenario that is, makes it easier for your employees, especially in the IT department, right? Because you mentioned that, of course, you do not have to have special knowledge, so much special knowledge anymore.
Special knowledge, I would say, is the wrong word, but I'm pretty sure that slide will also pop up. If we are able to bring everything to one platform or to combine different apps, we only have to take care of one, in that case, of one user account, which provides access to the employees to all of the applications. In that case, we can rely on the Microsoft security. And also, from my experience, as Microsoft is, let's say, in each and every company already in usage. A couple of them we can take out who are with the guys from San Francisco, from the search engine, but that's not the biggest market. So most of our customers are already with Microsoft in terms of Office. So the IT department is already used to the technology. They are used to the user administration. If you
I will come to that, yeah, in the later slide. Yeah. So, but what I want to state out, you said that before, is it's much more easier for your IT department. You do not have to just think of the 7 islands of Leonidas, and if you have to provide and maintain 7 islands, it's a difference. You have to have knowledge for 7 islands. If you have 1 island, 1 platform, and apps on it, it's much easier. The question is, why Microsoft? Because you're working with platforms, you're also working with different platforms. There are different platforms. We decided for Microsoft a long time ago, and I'm very glad that Bernd and Franciscus decided to go for Microsoft because I think it was really, really good. Because there are 3 things right now I think that are very crucial. Is on the one side, you just said it, the environment. Everybody's used to a Microsoft product somehow. Everybody works with Excel, everybody with Office, everybody works, or not everybody, but many work with Teams. There was also a survey that said 80% of HR managers work around the world, work with Office products. So people are used to that. And when it comes to change managers, the obstacles, and the lower the obstacles are, it's easier to persuade your employees to come with you on that road. Yeah? And working with Microsoft already lowers down the obstacles, and that makes it much, much easier. There's also another thing, it's very flexible. It's very flexible. One might say, yeah, it's one platform and it's one provider. I mean, stuck there a little bit. You're not stuck there a little bit, because we are one app to that platform, and there are about 10,000 of apps, and you can combine them as on the cell phone, the smartphone. As on the smartphone, you can combine them, and that's a really great benefit. We use, for example, DocuSign for digital signage, because it's on the platform. We can use it, and that's what makes it really flexible. And it's also perspective. That's where I have a question for you once again. But because perspective, of course, we've seen AI. We've seen what AI is capable of, and we've just seen the first little steps. When you ask me, there are so many giant leaps or heaps to come. But Microsoft has been there, for ages, and Microsoft now shows a little bit the way in the future, and I think this is a great perspective for everybody, and it's a good argument and a good benefit going with Microsoft. And when you look at the development, or why Microsoft, why do you recommend Microsoft?
4 years ago, I would have answered that question completely different. Hopefully, Microsoft will not kick me out of the room. As you read in the introduction, I'm responsible for our customer-facing CRM business within Telekom, so I have nothing to do with our internal CRM, only our customers. And you all know the other competitors on the market in terms of CRM and ERP. The biggest of them all share that blue logos. That might be a fancy color. So 4 years ago, as I said, the answer would have been completely different. But in the last couple of years, Microsoft invested so much money, obviously, from my perspective, a bit driven also by Corona, where we saw an increase in demand of Teams and Office transformation. And luckily, Microsoft realized that this is the biggest advantage they have to combine all of the collaboration tools, because Microsoft comes from the collaboration. So all employees are used to work with the Microsoft products. And with the Power Platform in the basis, that's just an awesome platform which combines everything and makes it so easy for our customers to streamline their processes. Again, it's very hard to put the whole platform into place, but that's the biggest advantage, that everything from Office, Outlook, or starting with Outlook, Teams, Dynamics, Power Platform, and even external resources can combine with that in a very easy way based on the Microsoft security.
Now let's switch to the, because I'm having a look at what time is it, and I don't know if we can shorten everything, but we try to. Okay, let's have a look at the benefits of digital HR management then, because I think platform benefits are quite clear right now. Better processes, that's what you stated at the beginning. You said, for me, digitalization is analog to digital, but there's something more about it, I guess.
Yes. Shit in, shit out, I think that makes it very clear. Just trying to digitalize a process which is already not streamlined, not good, makes absolutely no sense. And that's also from my perspective, an investment which lots of customers are not willing to do, because they tell us, we're currently doing it in this way, please transform it into Hubdrive or whatever. And sometimes we really have big discussions with the customers because we try to challenge them and try to convince them to think about their processes, because a bad analog processes is not turning into a good digital process. It's staying a bad process, which makes nobody happy. So that's something which is, from my perspective, underestimated and very important.
And there's a good thing about it, because we deliver best practice implementation, for example, where we help people by transforming their processes, because we have examples of how other HR departments did it, hundreds of examples how they did it. And that's, of course, a good example for people starting off and rebuilding or transforming their processes. We'll come to that in a second. We have a very nice example I found, and I wanted to share that with you, of a process that you thought might maybe alleviated, made easier, but still it's just a bad processes. We have here on the left side, we have a woman. I hope you see that because of the resolution, but it's quite old. It's a TV commercial of the 90s, and you see a woman, and the process is she's cooking, she's preparing dinner, and she's having her phone on her shoulder. So the process, she wants to talk with somebody. And then they improved the process, and they invented, I think, this thing here. This is a headset that is attached. I can show you a little bit. That is attached with the, to the handheld phone, glued together. And now, wow, hands-free, you can now cook your dinner and with a cable that is 20 meters long, run around the kitchen and whatever. But that was the solution of how a process can be improved. But of course, that's not the solution, or that's not a process we are talking about. We are talking about right now, what do we have? We have not handies. We do have smartphones. We do have our Alexa, Bluetooth speaker, whatever, and we can do FaceTime while we are cooking. Of course, hands-free, because this is digital transformation. This is how a real good process looks like. And maybe this is kind of the WhatsApp process you described before, but I think it was quite interesting to know how people can look at processes and what they think a solution is. And if you have the examples of other ones in that case, many of our customers, you can get best practice examples, and that's comes in very handy. Clean processes, we want to talk about that. I try to make it a little short, but everybody knows, for example, the process when it's about a leave request and just the process step. We're always talking about process steps because one process consists of several steps. So, and only the step from the leave request here to the approval can take and can be a windy road, and it can take lots of time. Sometimes when you're working on paper, things can get lost. Yeah? Somebody is entering a leave request but doesn't get an answer because the paper got lost, or maybe the process is that you're yelling something through the aisle to your supervisor. I want to take off for one day in 1 week. Is that fine? And so yeah, I'll have a look. I mean, it's not a process, but still happening. Yeah, right. And to make just this simple step, can be transformed easily with the platform. It can also be transformed easily, of course, with our software as it works together. Because you have a leave request, you have one single point where people are going to. You say you go on this product, and here is the button for leave request. Everybody knows that. Yeah? Bit of change management, but I think this is quite easy, especially if we know that we can do it in Teams, for example. We have a look at that also. And then supervisor is directly notified, gets an Outlook mail or whatever, and can directly approve, has a look on the calendar, can see if his colleagues in the department are taking off at the same time or not. So everything is informed in one place and he can go on. Yeah? And this is shrank down and clarified for everybody so much. And this is really one of the best benefits because you're saving time. Yeah? You're saving time, money. You get more secure, of course. Within the processes, because you know what to do. We always offer process step bars within our processes. So if somebody new comes along or somebody is leaving, you do not have to write down everything. You do not have to have a know-how or whatever, because the process defines what next step you have to do. And it's your process. You can define it. Yeah? We can give a sample, but if you want to customize it, customize it. And that's your process. So it gives a lot of security, of course. And clean processes, this is something that you said are not just there because you can save money with that, it looks good, but there's more to it, as you wanted to mention something about that.
So with the clear processes, I think I've already mentioned that in the very beginning, due to that war of talents. Honestly, I don't like that expression, but that's what's currently happening. Streamlined and employee-oriented processes, no matter if we're talking about the HR stuff or the regular employee who is just using the software. If they do not feel comfortable with the processes, that's something which becomes more and more important from year to year. For the old people, I think I'm also one of the older ones. That's not always pretty obvious, but for the young people, that's what goes to the news for months, for almost 2 years now with Gen Z and everything with the whole shift. That's something which becomes more and more important. And even to me, that's something I really like about my company, that we have that streamlined processes, which helps me in my daily work and not hindering from my daily business. Because to me, HR is still supporting process as a regular employee. I'm not working in the field of HR. I have to request a leave. I'm not too often on sick leave, but if that happens, I have to put it down into our systems. That's something I have to do, but it has to go fast, quick, and easy whenever I want it, even mobile.
Yeah, and everything is possible within the combination of the platform and our product. Yeah, and this pays off to that as a benefit of HR management, you can promote the working atmosphere by doing so, because there's more to work than just earning money. You have to feel good. You have to feel safe. And if you annoyed every day what you're saying, because you have to remember 7 passwords to get everything, every stuff done, but you have an environment that's easy to handle for yourself, yeah, then it's much more easier. And it's something like confirmation also a little bit, and yeah, it makes life easier for you. And that is something that should not be underestimated. We're also talking about secure and quick work processes. When we talk about digitalizing HR management, we always talk about saving time, saving money, getting more comfort out of everything, yeah, and more process security. We described that with the process, with the leave request. That's the same, secure and quick work processes. Security, as I mentioned, if you have process steps and you exactly know what to do, because you are not allowed to do the second step before you have not finished the first one, because the system does not allow you to do so, then it's quite, for you, it gives you security and it makes life easier. And
one remark to that,
of course.
Security is very important. Everybody's talking about digital processes, mobile work, but not everybody thinks about that as a security issue. When we move out processes from the office paper-based, it's very hard to corrupt those processes from outside. But if we talk about mobile work, that's something you really have to consider if you deal with those kind of projects, that this is an additional entry gate for hackers or other people who want to influence your company in a way. So please keep that in mind. It's not always the sunny side. I don't want to call it a shade or the dark side, but that's something you have to consider.
Yeah, there's something, but to this point, of course, you're right. Where Microsoft also really has a great benefit when it comes to security. We come on that. We come within to that in a second, because security aspect is one of the biggest obstacles for people deciding to go for or to digitize their HR management. That's there's also a survey that said 35% say we do not invest right now, or we are struggling because we are not sure about data security. And for me, it's a little bit ironic, because I think the best thing that can happen to you right now is being on a platform when it comes to data security, and being with Microsoft, in my opinion. I just showed you that's the trust center of Microsoft. Everything is GDPR compliant. Everything. We do not work with attachments anymore within our software. We work with links. Yeah, you can send out a link, and a link has an expiry date. We do not work with attachments, and somebody in the company has to delete the attachment after, I don't know, 6 weeks or something like that. Yeah, who's doing that? Nobody's doing that. That's also something that gives you security. Yeah, when you're working with that. When it's about erasing data. Of course, everything is in the system and can be done automatically. That's a really, really benefit. And there's you also got an opinion when it comes to security and Microsoft. And the platform.
Yeah, not only Microsoft. I bet all the big software companies, since they invest tons of millions and billions of money into security, are doing a better job than the companies in the market. There are only a few companies in Germany who also do tremendous investments. I mean, we are also one of those, because we are in that field with our IT security company. But for the regular customer whose business is not IT, all the big software providers, in my opinion, do on the long term a better job. So I would always try to rely on their security if that's possible, if there are no internal rules or regulations prohibit that.
Yeah. So, having said that, we can turn to the concrete potential of HR for dynamics of our product. The first thing is what we can say for those who do not know yet. We have a complete solution. That means that is what Leonidas was so angry and furious about, because he had seven tools he had to work with. We offer one solution, everything from hire to retire. We have a complete solution, but still it's modular. So you do not have to have every all of those models. You can have the licenses combined to your needs. This is something we already stated, because we already also underlined, because this is a thing that is very important for us. We are working together with a platform. We are on that platform, and that's the benefit for us and for our customers, of course. We do not have to repeat that, but of course, everything out of the box. Remember the smartphone I told as an example. Everything goes seamlessly and working together. That's easy as it can be. Yeah? Another thing is that you are flexible. Marco mentioned that you want to work from home and stuff like that. You can do all that, of course. Yeah, you can work with browser, desktop app, whatever you want. And the generation now demands also that. So we cannot not have it. Yeah, of course we do have it. But what we do have is notifications via Outlook. We do have the direct entries in your calendar. We also do have that. But what is something special we have, and where people are always excited about, Franciscus also showed, that is the integration with Teams. And I know that you like that fact. Just tell us why you like that fact.
I mean, Teams are something where we can gain so much benefits from. Most of our customers are using it internally. But for example, we chat via Teams to avoid those 1 or 2 sentence emails. Hi, Michael, are you free today? Should we have a quick chat on this or on that? I'm talking to Holger, to Franciscus, even to customers in terms of project cooperation. That shortages the investments in emails so tremendous, even from, let's say, if I'm here at Microsoft in a meeting, we are on a lunch break, I can quickly go into Teams, text some messages to colleagues, to customers, to partners, which helps me in my daily work so much, but that's a very big potential. Honestly, I'm not a big fan of all the reports in Teams, especially when it comes to smartphones, because I don't like those small screens. But if you like that, if you prefer that, work on an iPad. As I said, I'm not a big fan of that. That's also something which can make your daily life easier. So Teams is also something which is, in my opinion, really underestimated. And my colleague from Telekom, who's responsible for Teams and telephone, most of you might know us from the telephone and landline business, he always keeps saying Teams without telephone is like pizza without cheese. So most of the customers are just using it for internal chat, which is like that usage of, but you have this potential. So that's also something you should think about. With us, with other vendors, that's up to you. Try to bring your telephony to Teams, because that's also integrated into the whole Dynamics platform with some tiny little benefits. We do not want to talk today in detail, but it's also something which helps you in your daily business to increase your processes and your daily work. So keep that in mind. Teams without telephone is like pizza without cheese.
And the great thing I also talked about is when, because I realized that myself, is when we talk about the obstacles and the change management, when you work in Teams as a collaboration tool, and you just have another button here, and you can do your leave request, and as a supervisor, you can see your dashboards. It doesn't get any easier and any simpler than that. And that's something, and that is very, very unique. Also, something that's very important is the customization of your processes, the customization that is possible due to the platform. That's not what we developed or something. Everybody on the platform can do that, but you can do that within our product, and you can do that within minutes, in seconds sometimes, and that make things so easy. And you said a really nice word. He said in German, he said, I have to read fachbereichsgerecht. Fachbereichsgerecht. Now I want you, when we met for this speech, now I want you to translate this term and tell the people what you mean with that.
I call it fachbereichsgeeignet.
Geeignet, sorry, my bad.
So, as most of you might know, we're talking about a no-code, low-code platform. In that case, a new field. That's something you can do without any coding skills, without any deep technical knowledge. That's something, if your internal processes and regulations allow that, and especially your IT is allowing that, in the HR department, if you have a power user, that person could add a new field, could add some new rules to the platform to improve your processes. So it's very easy, no deep technical knowledge is required if you are allowed. That's something I always try to focus on, because once a year I get calls from customers who are trying to do some changes, not in the sandbox or the testing environment, in the live environment, and then done by a power user. So you have to know what you're doing. That's why I say, please try to find power user who really know what they do, but you don't need to be from IT department.
Yeah.
Very easy. And even I can do that.
Yeah, and we're talking about war of talents, although we do not like, also do not like their expressions, but it also pays into that on that bill, right? So this is just an example how you can adapt workflows, how you can adapt processes, simply drag and drop, and really within minutes. And this is one of those process lines I was talking about. These are process steps, and process steps are really important when it comes to the benefit calculator. I'll come to that within 2 minutes. So. Also a great benefit or something we can offer for our customers and our partners, of course. We really integrated, as we are working with Microsoft and together and on the platform, we have the environment, once again, the expression is coming up, and we have the possibility of all those analytics. Yeah, we have an Excel, dynamic Excel imports. We can import more or less everything to Excel. We can integrate Power BI and design our own dashboards. So everything you need really more can be done with our software and together with a platform. Once again, and this is a really great benefit. One Windows password for all sounds nice to have, but it's also one of the things that's underestimated, because it counts on the stuff, secure processes and stuff like that. If you do not have to remember 7 passwords, of course it's easier. Yeah? And when I started at Hubdrive, it was really a relief. I just open my Surface, look into and say good morning, and everything is running. Face recognition.
Good for you.
Yeah.
I have to remember 3 passwords. That annoys me.
Yeah, and that is really a great benefit, and also something people underestimate, because it pays for the employees to feel easy and to feel to be able to concentrate on what they should do best and not to be angry. Somebody's doing that in the background. Okay. We can establish and improve in weeks. Francisco's already said us something about that in the keynote. I think is still something very remarkable, because you can just install the app, and within several weeks you can really run and start working with the application. And that is, when it comes to a whole department, something that is very remarkable. Okay. The last thing is the benefit calculator. Francisco's also said something about that. I want to just make an example why it is so important for you, because we were talking about potentials and benefits and stuff like that, and you can put most of them, because feeling good you cannot put inside, but facts and figures you can put inside that calculator. And you give them to the CEO that Franciscus was referring to and tell him these are the numbers. And the very good thing is that these are your numbers, because what are we doing? We have here on the right side, we have process steps. We differentiate between whether you're coming from an IT island, whether you're coming from paper, so this is a different factor behind it. But we go through every process step that is there in HR department, and we tell the customers to be, how long does it take you to do one step? For example, how long does it take you? You have 7 apps, as we heard before, and you have to consolidate all those data. How long does it take you? And you can write everything down. You can compare it with what you really need with our solution. Then you have the gap, and you have the numbers. You can fill in the amount that you need for an hour, because you say we need 38 euros or something like that, and then you have the real number at the end, what you are saving at the process step. And if you combine many process steps together, you can say, for example, 45 minutes 100 times, then you have 4,500 minutes and 75 hours for one step. And if you even go further and you say, okay, 45 minutes is too much. We have, let's say, 30 minutes we can save, and we have hundreds of those steps, and we do that 100 times a year. You come to that, and even if you divide it by 2, and you said, 30 minutes is too much, 50 minutes, you have more than 300 days you can save. And this is something that is so important to know, and this is why the benefit calculator is something so very important as a tool for us. Okay, as a conclusion, because I'm really pushed here. Get started now. Get the benefit calculator and ask us as Hubdrive, ask our partners for personal assistant. We would be delighted to talk to you more in detail about all the things you need to know. And here you can reach the benefit calculator. If you want to, just leave that open, and then we can switch technology. Yeah, now you're doing like that. Yeah, okay, come on, okay. So thank you, Marco, very much. I really appreciate that, and had a great time with you. Thank you for your attention, and we go on to the next speech.